Ekabo, Loni, I have with me Gabriel Kolafo on our first ever series on my Lagos living. Please give us a round of applause, please. Give us. Thank you.
My Lagos living.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you for coming on my channel.
And by the way, nice setup here.
Thank you.
Lovely ventilation, sweet lighting.
Oh my God.
You're doing so well.
You there, Abby? You see. Give me my flowers. See, my friend is Elivi. Today we'll be talking about fatherhood, running, and photography. And with me is Gabriel Kolako.
Hi.
I've got some questions for him. And as you all know, I keep it 100. I keep it spontaneous. It's all around fun. I breathe fun. I sleep fun. I eat fun. Yes? Okay.
I'm starting to feel the pressure a little bit.
Pressure of what?
Pressure.
No pressure.
Interview pressure.
Relax, my friend.
You know?
Okay? It's okay. We're doing this one step at a time, right?
No stress.
No stress.
One question at a time.
One question at a time.
Looking forward to that.
I know you're a dad, and
Yes.
my first question to you is, has fatherhood changed you?
Oh yes. Of course.
How so?
A lot.
Okay.
So, before fatherhood, there was being married, and even that one, I had this feeling of independence.
Okay.
You get. So, being married helped to become more of a team worker. But when you have a child, it's almost like you have a big reset button pressed. Like your life is not really your own anymore because you have somebody needing you a lot, depending on you. So for everything, the physical side, being present, the emotional side, you understand?
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot. So you really need to start planning your day ahead, being mindful of your resources, spending more wisely, trying to earn more, because now you need to be more of a provider for your child and your wife and your family and other dependents, so family members, friends too, acquaintances. So it's a lot of it's more like what do you call that thing? Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to the part where you talked about your life is no longer your own, because I won't say I recently became a mom. It's just been 15 months. It's like you close eye like this, open eye.
Well, you're doing so well.
Thank you. So I totally relate with that. And as you guys can hear in the background, my child is somewhere grizzling.
She wants mommy.
Yes, she wants mommy. She always wants mommy. What are your earliest memories of being a father?
My earliest memories was when I got the message that I was going to be a dad.
Okay.
So then I was a biker. So I was actually resting somewhere to catch a breath. Okay. And I got a text message from my sister-in-law. Your daughter has been birthed.
Oh wow, okay.
Like a day ago. But we didn't want to trouble you because it was not in Nigeria. And I just stopped in my tracks, like, wow. So this is it. You're a dad now, yes.
It don't happen. Okay.
So the word I was looking for was quantum shift.
Quantum shift.
Yes. So like, we're here. Deal with it.
Right.
Grow up.
Grow up. Grow up. The growing up just happens so fast. Have you always wanted to be a father?
Yes, I have. but not a dad of many children.
Okay. How many would you like to have?
One, preferably two,
Okay. That's
because
okay.
the dynamics of raising kids, being present for kids, it requires so much from you. So if you have too many children,
Yeah.
you need to have a very deep well to give.
Yeah.
And we know how stressful Lagos can be. You know how stressful adulting can be, because now this is quite weird, but in as much as you have a child coming in and you have to look after a child, one must remember one's inner child too,
Yes.
that needs tending to.
Yes.
So when you begin to look at your trauma, everybody has one.
Absolutely.
You must find a way to attend to that, because if you don't, you set up yourself for future troubles.
Yeah, more like balancing it out.
Yes, very key.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that, because sometimes I get to have like memories of childhood I never knew were there. It's not like I intentionally forgot about stuff. I've had conversations before with people where I'm like, sometimes it's like deja vu. It just happens. I'm like, I've been here before, but how is it possible that I'm just remembering this now? You know, and sometimes those traumas are not, they're not nice. They're not nice. Let us move on. Has fatherhood been all that you imagined?
Wow, is that a trick question?
Well,
I think so far it's been good.
Okay, you know why I asked that question?
Yeah.
Is because the thought of something is different from the reality of it.
Okay.
Right?
So I have a pretty interesting answer to that one.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say I had the best of childhood.
Okay.
In terms of my relationship with my parents.
Okay.
So they're basically hustling, bustling, trying to ensure that we were well provided for. But what that did was it took away their attention from us.
Right.
So again, there's the physical side of like providing.
Yeah.
There's also the emotional side. So most of my childhood, I was actually neglected. So they were busy just trying to provide.
Right.
And one of my earliest memories was when I was in Ido-Ekiti. They just dumped me there, me and my brother. My dad was posted to that area, and they had a police post there. He was a police officer.
Okay.
And the place was basically a remote area. There were no schools. It was just my dad, his brother, and my brother as well. So just the four of us in a farm with a police post right in front, quiet, desolate, and I was always busy. So my parents were really present. So when now, as a dad now, thinking about that and trying to be available for my daughter, I'm beginning to see that for you to be present for your kid, you need to actually be intentional about it. Because if one is not careful, the stress of life, the battles of life can take you away from being present. So it's not like, I'm going to be, when life shows you Pepe, sometimes you get to the house, I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
And my daughter will just say, Daddy, but I want to play with you.
Yeah.
I want to rest now. So when she says, I want to play with you 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and she keeps getting, I'm tired, she'll move on from you.
Absolutely.
And that's how we lose that connection with our children. So we have to be mindful. It's not easy, but even if it's 1 out of 4 times or 3 times at least, try.
Right.
And one thing I also realize is there are little games that you can play with your kids that just lets them know that, this man is thinking about me. So for my daughter now, for example, when I'm taking her to school, I give her my headphones, then I play her songs, and then what do you think of the song? And then she's looking through the window, thinking of those songs, and I'm holding her hand, So small things like that.
That's cool.
It gives them this idea of like, this guy actually has my time.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
And that's how they also create their own memories that, when I was younger, my dad was,
Yeah. That sounds like fun, and being intentional and present for the child is very important. Even though we as parents, we have our own personal struggles.
We do.
Right?
Adulting is no joke.
It is calm. Why do you run?
Oh, okay.
Why do you run?
Now we're getting to the sweet spot.
Why do you run, and what got you into running?
Okay, for running, it started with the practical side. So before I started running, I was overweight.
Okay.
So I was consuming too much calories, and I wasn't moving as well as I should be moving. And then COVID happened.
COVID happened to everybody.
Yes, when COVID happened, it was a chance to just, explore, because the roads were mostly desolate. So I could run as far, as long as I could. But after a while, once you lose weight now, if you run longer, you find out that your body has gotten used to all that exertion, and you're not losing as much weight as you should be losing.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on? So, it turned out that running was actually a good stress reliever too.
Yes.
So I tapped into that stress relieving, spiritual aspect of running, meditative aspect of running.
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me, going and asking for more. So I had a faith crisis.
Okay.
So I got fed up with the way Christianity was being practiced in this part of the world. And I was like, there has to be something better. So, I tried so many things.
Okay.
But running is quite special, because running just puts you in that zone. Like, just you and the road and your God. And to be frank with you, it's a kind of prayer for me. So like when I'm running, I'm in my thoughts.
Yeah.
The thing about running as well is, if you run with music all the time, it can be tricky because that's a distraction. But if you run without any sound and you're just in your elements, it can be quite beautiful.
Right.
So that's meditative.
And my child is around.
She makes her presence known.
That's good. I think the meditative part of running is something, for lack of a better word, it's something most people are not conscious of.
Yes.
So when they get home, they're like, oh, I feel good. It's because you were in a very meditative state while you were running.
True.
Just a background
100%.
Just a background story on how I met Gabby. I met him while I was pregnant with my child, and I think it was, say, 3 days after my birthday, and I had my crochet pin. I'll insert a photo somewhere or some embarrassing video of all of us. And he saw me. I saw him after his run. I think it was one of those days where we have like the 21K.
A warm down.
Yeah. Thank you. Say us, we never run in a long time. All the Franco lingo, how do you call it? It don't come off our head. So he walked towards where I was standing with other crew members. And the first thing he said to me was, is that for hobby or for fun? Something in that light. I was like, hobby, I guess. And I just continued with my crochet. In my head, after I got home, I started thinking about that moment. I was like, wait, were you acting like a normal human being, or it was just pregnancy hormones that was worrying you? But anyway, as they say, the rest is history. It was so much fun. It's always fun. And we all went out to drink stuff, to dance, and we both had like a photo walk evening.
Yeah.
Would you rather run a 21K or a 42K?
A marathon always.
Drop my
mind
no
over
more question.
matter.
Okay now.
Yes.
Okay.
So
What is your advice to someone who wants to take up running as a hobby or for health or just wellness in general?
Start small.
Start small.
Yes.
You know, on this channel, we always say start
Yes.
small, start with what you have.
There is no pressure. Nobody's chasing you. If you can walk 1 kilometer, you walk 1 kilometer. You move to 1.5. Walking, maybe jogging, walking. Because sooner or later, you find out that you are pounding your body against the ground. So if you are going too hard, your future will tell you that guy.
Yeah. Slow down.
You have only one body, and injuries, I think. So you need to go in with a long-term mindset, longevity. Do I want to be able to do this at 60, 70, 80? If you go too hard now, when you get to that time, impossible. So it's slow. And the thing is, going slow, it is ideal, but is it practical? I don't think so. It's also a part of you running yourself in. Right now, you feel like you can go fast, and it's nice and exciting.
Yeah.
But you need to tell yourself, oh boy, what is the game plan? If we want to continue to do this in the future, we must practice holding ourselves back so that we can reap the benefits of the future coming ahead of us.
Right. The relationship you have grown through running, how has that affected you as a father?
My relationship with running?
Yes. The relationship, like the people you've met, the conversations you have, how has that affected your growth as a father?
People that run, I find people who run as very crazy people.
Why?
But in a good way.
Okay.
So crazy in terms of resilience. So somebody like our marathon in Ife, we had two guys. Midway through the race, they had issues with their legs, muscle pull and all the rest.
Okay.
And they fought and they pushed and they finished. And it's such a good feeling. Like in life, there are times when we start so many things. I want to do this, I want to do that, but you never finish.
Yeah.
So with running, when you start and you finish, it's a nice confidence boost.
Yeah.
Like whatever I set my mind to, I finished. So even in the running community, I'm not friends with everybody. But the thing is, I appreciate the mindset of putting yourself out there, dealing with plenty laundry, because running requires a lot of washing and stuff.
Yeah.
Investing in running gear, which is another crazy area, because it's not cheap.
Tell me about it. No, it's not cheap.
Running gear that is comfortable and long lasting is not cheap. So it's like an investment for your life. So people that run are pretty special people. So I'm so glad to have been able to collaborate with my running buddies.
Nice. I know you're into photography.
Yes, my actual first love.
Okay. Yes. Before running.
Yes, before running.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Is photography a hobby or a side hustle?
It's a lifestyle for me.
Yes. No more question.
It's just a lifestyle.
What is your photography story?
Mine started again childhood. So I don't have many pictures of me when I was younger.
I think that happened to me as well. Yes. I don't have photos of me.
And I was like, my folks, what were they doing? Again, they were busy, they were hustling.
Yeah.
Interestingly, my dad had this weird hobby of buying cameras. So maybe he got them as gift or whatever, or he thought, oh, this looks nice. So he would buy all these cameras and just chuck them in the drawer in the house. And I'd be like, what is wrong with this man? You are buying camera. I have never for once seen you. Guys, let's go out to the beach.
Take a photo.
Just had these cameras in his drawers. And me, as a very curious child, I'll just creep into his room. Oh, wow, that looks nice. That looks nice.
Oh, wow.
And they used to piss him off like, this guy, why are you going through my things? And I'm like, Daddy, let me help you use your things. You're not using them.
Thinking about it, right? It might be that he wanted to go into photography.
Probably.
And he didn't have that motivation.
Yes.
Again, they have their own stories, and their time is different from our time, right?
Course,
so to you it was more like it was pissing him off, but I don't think I wasn't there.
You know the funny thing about this thing? So at some point in my life, I used to kind of resent my parents for the decisions they made. But now I have tilted towards the angle of like understanding their journey at their time.
Right.
Okay? Because I have seen that, look, to actually get the right thing done as an adult, you must be a planner, one, a decision maker, two, and a dreamer. Do you understand? So you can't plan and not be a decision maker. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't plan if you don't dream. So all those three have to fuse together, with the decision making being the icing on the cake, because really you have to learn to make decisions. So it is not easy to combine that in a busy world.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Give us a fun fact about your childhood.
Another trick question. Fun fact about my childhood.
One naughty thing or mischief were you always up to? Nothing comes to mind. There's always something there.
There's always something. So I'm trying to think. I think what stood out was me creeping into my parents' room when they had gone to work and just rummaging through the drawers, looking for something interesting, you know. And sometimes I'll see something like, what's that? You know.
Did you go back to them to ask?
Never.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
When I was young, I was scared of my dad. He was a really strict man. Yeah.
Okay.
And my mom was always like so swamped with catering to the house and cooking and buying food stuff.
Yeah.
She never had her time. But I was lucky when I was 17, A-levels, stayed with a lady for like 2 years. And she was like a parent to me. So I think that helped me balance what I was really missing as a child, that connection with my parents. So she would sit me down and tell me about her life, her story, love, the future, just broaden my horizon in a way that I never really experienced with my parents. So that was a turning point for me. Yeah. And that brought me out of my shelter because I was a really timid child. I wouldn't discuss with anybody. My thoughts were always hidden. My agenda was always like, I had this espionage syndrome. I would just do things sneaky. So I was a sneaky child.
Oh wow. So fun fact, was a sneaky child.
Yes.
Okay. What is one
And if you're my friend, I would investigate you. So if you know, you know.
Exactly. So what is one thing from your childhood you would allow in your parenting style? Is there something from your childhood you would allow in your parenting style?
Yes. Yes. So again, going back to my parents. So even though I don't have the best relationship with them, they were always together in the house. And that is good for mental stability for a child, to see both parents in the house with them, because when one parent is missing, that creates this world of illusion for the child, like, okay, where is the other person? What are you not telling me?
Yeah.
all kinds of funny ideas starts to creep up. So
Yeah.
both parents being present in the life of their growing child, it makes a world of difference.
I agree. I agree to that. I know that not all children get to experience
No,
that,
no, no.
and I also feel like it's a very sensitive area in parenting. You know, because there's a lot of um, trauma that comes out from that, and it's just so much. You know.
But I'm going to add something.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe I was lucky to have parents who pretty much understood themselves.
Right.
But talking about this kind of subject, there are some parents that are not really compatible. Yeah, compatibility is a thing.
Yes, but remember that in their time,
Yes.
most people got married because one family knew the other family,
Yeah.
good families, and they don't give a excuse my French. They don't give a shit if the kids are going to be compatible or not. Their owner,
Yes.
marry, so that the relationship can continue.
I am saying
right?
that for this time that we are in,
Okay.
compatibility is a thing.
Yeah.
And you can be compatible on so many levels, and just one single one drives the wedge between you both.
Preach.
So
Yes.
There's no one size fits all to these things,
Right.
but it helps to, even if the parents are not together, they have to find a way to raise that child or
Yes.
those children together.
Yes.
It helps.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
It helps.
It does help, and I feel that's where you don't get to put yourself first. That child is the priority, you know. But as humans, we can be selfish.
We are selfish.
Yes, we don't look past me.
Yes.
It just has to be me.
Yes.
And when kids are involved, please, it's just too much. Is Gabriel Kolako different from Gabby Indica, or they are one and the same?
No, they can't be the same. Never.
Please enlighten me, my friend.
So, my full names are actually Kolakbo Gabriel Adeshoyin.
Okay.
That is my prim and proper self.
Your government name.
My government name, yes, my passport name. But Gabito Indica is like my higher self. Okay? Because when you begin to grow, you start saying that in life there are many tricks, there are many veils, there are many funny things happening, and nobody tells you these things. You just find out that something is amiss here. What's going on? So your higher self needs to be aware of what life really is. So people can be sneaky. You can be nice to people, and they have bad intentions for you. Do you understand? So many weirdness in life that you must be exposed to so that you can make some decisions. So higher, curious self.
Right.
And then there's the calm one. Yes, Abiodun. So Abiodun means born in the new year or something like that. Yeah. So that's a really calm one. That's the lavender one. Well, yeah. When I go to the office, my government self, prim, proper, well dressed, well presentable. When I'm running, yes, Gabito Indica comes out.
My friend.
That's my exciting. And I've come to realize that people can be quite addicted to him too, because he's very bubbly, very out there, and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to
balance it.
The classic yin and yang. Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. Did you experience fear or anxiety or depression during your early days of fatherhood?
No. Never. No. Raising Irelewa has been fun.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's such an amazing child. And kudos to my wife, our mom, for being the perfect spouse, raising her. So nothing as such, no depression, nothing.
On
been-
your own part.
On my own part, yes.
Okay.
What I would say is now that she's now becoming cognizant of her surroundings,
Right.
she's, having access to all kinds of information, going to school, and the way we have raised her, she has become very independent in a way.
Okay.
She has a mind of her own,
Yeah.
but then she has no filter. If she doesn't like you, she don't like you. If she doesn't, she just gives it to you. I'm like, babe, please be,
No, that can't pick it. You no go fit it.
so like we're trying to raise her to be like, you just can't, So that can be quite shocking sometimes. Like there are times she will tell our nanny, you're just a nanny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm like, you cannot say that.
Oh god.
So things like that, having to just, teach them in the right way to be, because we're human beings and you need to learn the way, the psychology of dealing with other human beings, because we're human beings, sensitive.
And this teaching always comes down to that point where you're looking at that child, her level of understanding
Yes.
is different from where you were coming from. So it's more like you have to come to her level. And I think that's something that I feel like is tough in parenting.
Very tough. This thing that you mentioned is what I feel drives the spanner between parents and children. So you can love your child so much, you are trying so hard to raise your child in the right way, and if you're not careful, it turns to abuse. So you need to be mindful of that, and getting feedback from your spouse, from the child. Maybe you are being too harsh, because if you are being too harsh, the child won't learn the lesson. Yes, we have this thing of like, the rod and the child and whatever, but it must be done in love.
Yeah.
And this is the flip side. Sometimes you do it in love and the child still goes their own way. That's life.
Right.
So one has to be aware of entropy in life, like this idea of chaos. No matter how much you try to steer a situation,
Right.
at the end of the day, you only control yourself or your emotions. So you can try. You try, but don't be hurt when the child turns into something you never dreamt of, because really, that is life.
And truth of the matter is, you can't always be with your child all the time. As much as you want to, you can't.
They have their Kindle, they have their teacher, they have their iPhones, they have other influences that are investing more time than you are. So,
but shouldn't it be the other way around?
Like how?
Like parents investing more time over this external.
Yes. That is the ideal. It's the ideal situation. But how practical is that? You have to go to work if you are on a 9 to 5,
right,
dealing with the stress of work, making a living. When you're an entrepreneur, it's even a bit more difficult, because it's more tasking on you. So having to go through all the hustle and bustle, and then come to the house and have energy for that child, it sounds easy, but it's not.
Right. It's tough.
Yes.
It's doable.
It's doable, yes.
But it's tough.
Again, planning, dreaming, decision making.
What is something you'll never agree on in your parenting style with your wife?
I've come to a point whereby flexibility is the way. So before, I'll be like, no, but when you see that somebody has good intentions,
right,
all you can do is, when you see that maybe they are steering too far, maybe she gets a bit agitated, or she has a spurt of anger, all you can do is to correct.
Right.
Sometimes Erin needs to be spanked. That's fine. Like, I've only I spanked her once only.
Oh wow.
Yes. But she, with mommy bring out her cane. Should I bring out my cane? Say no, mommy.
Aw.
Okay. So I think the being flexible helps.
Right. Right. At the early stage of this session, you talked about Ado-Ekiti. Is that where you were born and raised?
No. I was born in Ilorin.
In Ilorin.
Yes.
Okay. So, how did you move from Ilorin to Ado-Ekiti? I remember you said your dad.
Yes, my
moved
dad as a policeman,
as a
always
policeman.
getting posted to different places.
Right. Okay. How did you get to come to Lagos? Because we're talking about our Lagos living.
Yes.
Even though we still
Yes.
talk about our life and other experiences.
Lagos too was a posting. It got posted to the mainland. So I spent considerable time there on the mainland.
Okay.
It was pretty interesting. I think I was there at Ido Barracks for like 5 years.
Okay.
Close to Oyingbo.
I know where Oyingbo is.
Yes. So after that, now we moved to Ikoyi, and I was like, "What's happening?" So it was like everybody was busy and bubbly and whatever. And we moved to this place of like sheer quietness and serenity. And I was like, "Wow!" So, in as much as I enjoyed the busy hustle bustle life, the mainland, and everybody interacting, and you jumping into one person's house and whatever. That Ikoyi experience too was nice because I saw a different aspect of Lagos, a very quiet, calm.
Would you say that Lagos you experienced growing up is the same? Has there been any major shift while growing up in Lagos in Ido?
Yes.
Did you have communal living?
Yes.
Relationships with your friends,
neighbors, yes.
Especially neighbors.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's this classic case of the rich becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer. So on the mainland side now, in that area, I wouldn't say generally the standard of living has really improved.
Okay.
It's more or less the same, but Ikoyi has kind of blown up.
Right.
So yeah, two extremes. Ikoyi is just what it is, like, not affordable for your average Nigerian. Yeah.
That's funny, but not funny, but yeah.
Yes.
You know what he means. What's your advice to intending fathers? Should I move on? Or I should just hold on that?
It's a good question. Intending fathers. Try. Choose a spouse that loves, that has a longing for children. Because as a dad, because of the kind of men that we are now, jai men, you want to hang out, you want to do this, you want to do that, you most likely not be there for that kid as much as your wife. So if your wife does not send you, that child is going to face it. So you can find a woman, that cares about children, and you can see that she has a loving heart, and her heart's in the right place. So that's for the other lady, but for you as a person now.
Because I was waiting. I just wait for you.
For you as a person now, you must be open to knowing what your dark side is. When I say dark side, a lot of men weren't raised as helpers in the house. So your wife now, who's just gotten pregnant, or had a kid, a lot going through her mind, her body changing, and you want to just come to the house, cook food for me. You need to realize that this woman needs help too. So it's not enough to just say, let's hire. As a guy, sometimes you may need to take out the trash. Not all the time. Sometimes you may need to do the dishes. sometimes meant for her. So just embrace starting to be a helper. It's a gradual process, not just like, just small things you can do to ensure that life is a bit easier for the person who has more of the primary role in raising that kid. And the person can see that you are making an effort.
The person who has the primary role.
Yes.
It's a shared responsibility.
Yes.
Your president said is what? Your responsibility. So it's all our responsibility.
It is a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
As a guy, man, where we've been, we usually have other things in our head. So show the other person that at least I care.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I know we've touched a bit about your growing up, your relationship with your parents, and what was your relationship like with your parents that has influenced your parenting style?
Okay, my dad, very open-handed. He was a giver. So he finds it very easy to give gifts.
Even though he was a tough guy.
Yes, tough guy, but he's someone that he finds it easy to just like take. And regardless of how you want to be like tough guy, if you're not someone that can give people stuff and not expect anything
in return,
you have not really discovered life's essence. So in life, you must be willing to just let go without expecting in return.
Right.
Like, I'm doing it for God, I'm doing it for my chi.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But if you cannot give out, problem deal. Because the thing is, if you can't give out to others freely, you can't give yourself freely.
Sure.
There are things you have to give yourself, peace of mind. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Distressing, not allowing people's stress to get to you, just giving yourself that, like, not that impermeable, like, even boundaries. But a boundary is a gift to yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. So it's something we have to practice. Like, I was talking to my boss one time, went to the mosque. I was like, okay, Oga, what was the message today at the mosque? And I was like, charity. And I was like, wow, okay, interesting. Okay. So yeah, let's try to be more charitable. It's not easy. Things are hard.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, charity could even be a kind compliment.
Yeah.
So somebody is going through a difficult day, just like, just give them something to raise their spirit a little bit, and you wouldn't know what the impact of that was.
Just even when you don't say anything to someone, but the moment you've made an eye contact with someone, right, you can tell by just looking at someone and just smiling. It might just be the only thing that person needed for the whole day.
Unfortunately, some people carry their face if you smile at them.
Not true. That was we live with Lagos.
And that can be quite demoralizing.
Yes.
Because you're saying a person just carries face.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. That's one of the things you should know about when you come to Lagos. Those tips.
Everybody is a boss, so.
Are you going to be a traditional father, or you're going to be the unconventional father?
Trying to divorce oneself from one or the other, I think, is a fool's errand.
My friend, please enlighten me.
Mix and match is good. It's good to always mix and match.
Okay.
I think for every situation requires unique perspective.
Right.
And you may need to borrow from the conventional or the unconventional, traditional. I'm talking about tradition now. This one that you enter tradition. So the marathon in Ife, I got the chance to go to the heritage sites. and explore some very pastoral, regions.
You guys, he's mentioning Ile-Ife just to rub it in my face.
Yes, intentionally. So that was quite nice how people of old did things, and how we are at a risk of losing our touch with our roots. So I'm not saying you should not strive for modernity or whatever, but then at least try to know, back in the day, how did our parents raise us? What were those lessons? What were those customs? What were those things that, it will help us.
Yeah, true.
I feel.
True. I think if we're not careful, we'll lose that.
That's actually started happening.
Yes.
If you look at language, for example.
Oh.
So I remember when I was growing up, I used to speak Yoruba a lot, and I don't know what happened. The Yoruba was richer, but now it's been somewhat adulterated with Pidgin and English, making way into the lingo, and it's kind of somewhat disheartening. Like, why can't we speak Yoruba purely? Why does it have to be, like a thing of mix and match? And
that's true.
It's for that reason I enjoy listening to High Life, Kali Igbo High Life.
Oh, really? Yeah. Why Igbo High Life?
I guess it's just a combination of melodies and instruments, and there's one thing about when Igbo men are singing, there's this deep baritone that I don't know how to describe, but it's just sweet.
Does it remind you of Oliver Diko?
Oliver Diko is just part of them, and there are plenty.
Right.
Osadebe, all the rest.
Yeah, just at the top of my head, that's the person that comes to mind.
And with the Igbo people too, they have a strong leaning towards their roots too, which I like.
Yeah. Talking about language.
Yeah.
My mom always said to me that I grew up in the European quarters.
I see.
So
did you?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I grew up around a lot of expatriates, right? And in as much as I grew up around expatriates, there were different people from different ethnic groups in Nigeria still around us, working in that environment: drivers, cleaners, gardeners, security men, petty traders, and these expatriates, they were only speaking English. Like, I mean, the Queen's English and your American kind of English. So I picked that up growing up. But every time I came back home, it has to be Igbo. How dare you? Like, my parents would always speak Igbo to me. But for some weird reason, I just couldn't vocalize it.
Up to now?
Now I'm being intentional in speaking. I think I became more intentional in speaking Igbo, like voicing it out, like hearing my own voice, saying Igbo words, trying to have a conversation. Like, I'll just chip in just throw small stuff there.
I had a different experience. I'm sorry for cutting you.
Oh, no worries, it's fine.
My experience was different. So, I told you I was on the mainland for a while.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I moved to Ikoyi, at that time, the neighbors there would class us, may have classed us as a bit raz. And when I went to school, I also felt inadequate because the kids there were all like, prim. What's in the sort now? So there was pressure to step up. That's one. Two, my parents, they started saying things like, oh, don't speak vernacular in the house. And I was like, okay. But then as a child, okay, daddy, okay.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. So there's that pressure of trying to conform to your new environment.
Yeah.
It's also internal pressure from your folks telling you that vernacular is not allowed though. So I just made a complete switch to like, okay now, you want to speak English now. We'll speak English. And after a while, I kind of lost my affection for the language until later in my early 30s. I was like, okay, maybe we overdid things back then.
Right.
And then now I am more pro embracing
Oh yeah.
culture, tradition,
Yeah.
customs.
Yeah.
And that will take a while for me as well.
True. It's all a process.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't have the pressure of trying to balance up anything, you know. I just found it interesting that all the expatriates had like different speaking accents. They were all speaking English, but the accents were different. It was, for me, it was it was so interesting.
Where was this?
In VI.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, this is cool. I go to school and of course it's all English. I still had classmates that would speak Yoruba. I love Yoruba, by the way. In Nigeria, aside from my own language, I love Yoruba. I love
Any particular reason?
because I grew up around Yoruba people.
Okay.
In the market, you see people bargaining in Yoruba, even Igbo men, Hausa men.
Yes.
It's like Yoruba just comes easy. An Hausa man knows how to speak Yoruba. An Hausa man knows how to speak Igbo. That's the Lagos I grew up in. Right now, I can't go to the market and try to speak Igbo without somebody trying to take advantage of me.
Really?
Or somebody trying to be like, English is a problem. English is good, don't get me wrong, but when I'm trying to say something and I can't just put it together, I just say English is a problem. Like, I go to the market sometimes, right, just to digress, and someone is having a conversation in my dialect. They're probably having a go at someone and they don't want you to know. But if I stand up for that person, I'm seen as the bad person.
I see.
But I'm not even calling the person's attention that you're, having a go at. Do you understand what I mean? But the Lagos I grew up in, the Lagos I remember is, it doesn't matter where you're from, what ethnic group you're from. You're in that market, everybody's hustling together. It's like everybody's making the conscious effort of learning each other's language, so the language doesn't die. You hear a baby old boy hawking his groundnut, speaking Hausa or speaking Igbo. It's amazing, So
I guess so much has changed.
So much has changed,
Yeah.
so much, and I like the effort that a lot of parents are putting in. Even parents that are not available like 24/7, but they make the conscious effort of trying to teach their children, sending them to like language school. Look at me, in my adulthood, I'm trying to learn Spanish. Don't
That's
you think?
Nice.
It is nice, but don't you think I should be learning Igbo first, right?
Yes.
But like I was saying before, I'm making the conscious effort to speak my own dialect, say the words out, not being afraid or being shy. My parents always spoke Igbo to me, and in as much as they spoke Igbo to me, they were also fluent in Pidgin English. So as they were speaking Igbo to me, it's either I'm responding in Pidgin English or I'm responding in proper English. So it was that back and forth. But now I can have a full-blown conversation with my mother on the phone in Igbo. So when she sees that I'm having difficulties, she chips in. I think that's the amazing thing about language. And for me, I think the intentionality comes with the fact that I always had at the back of my mind that I don't want to be that Igbo parent that will say to my child that you are from this place or you cannot speak this. At least even if I don't know how to speak like 100%, I want to be able to, try and teach my child a bit, and just move on. Like when my mom calls me visit, I tell her, don't try to speak English in this house. And she's looking at me like, what do you mean? Can I not speak English? I was like, you can speak English, but the girl, Papa, na the Englishman. Are you trying to outspeak the man? Just speak Igbo for your grandchild. So we always have this, mom and daughter.
You know what they say now?
Banter.
You know what they say?
What do they say? Please?
No grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody. Right. So we're coming to the end of this series. I hope you've had a good time as much as we have. And my second to the last question.
Second to the last?
Yes, now. You're doing well, my friend. Though.
Thank you.
Come, chop knuckle. Correct guy. Second to the last question for this session is: are you the bring home and we have a drink, or you're the kind of father who would be like, I'll stress that guy the Niger parent style before he even goes on a date with my daughter?
No,
Okay.
We've not reached that level yet.
I know, but you know, say you get some kind of thing where you go down the first thing.
No, I've not thought about things like that.
Okay. Because the Lagos Niger kind of parent.
Yes.
Right. This for me, I feel this is one question that is fun for me to ask because the typical Niger kind of dad,
Yes.
you are either bring him home, I want to see him.
Okay.
Even if you're a teenager, there are some parents, I grew up around some parents like that. And there are some that be like, I'll stress that boy. What does he what is he looking
You know
for?
the funny thing about we Nigerian men is Nigerian men are going through a lot.
Please, let's just leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay.
Nigerian men are going through a lot, and we have come to the end of this session.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
It was fun.
It was fun, right? Great. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, my friend. Please sign out the Gabito Indica style for us. He did see that one coming.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. One thing to remember that life is basically frequencies and vibrations. So you do well to ensure that your mind is carrying positive thoughts anywhere you go, so that it can manifest, if not now, maybe in the future. That's all for now.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember, kindness is never enough. Put a smile on someone's face. Until next time.
Bye-bye.